lot to talk about this morning. And for an instant audit, Jeff Duncan joins us. Duncan Financial Management. He's in St. Louis. Jeff, good to talk to you. We could address the congressional hearing part of it. As Jenna says, Mr. Toyota says if he's asked at some point, maybe he'll go to a hearing. But apparently next week he's sending one of his U.S. Executives. What do you make of that development? First of all, should he be there in person next week?
I believe so. I mean, obviously they're having significant problems. Toyota's always sold their products based upon quality, and right now they're having significant issues. Now they have to step up to the plate and do quite a bit of PR work to get their products back in the mindset that they are top quality products. This is a significant damage to Toyota, but if you look at the flip side of the coin, there's a lot of positives that are going forward for Ford. So Toyota's going to do whatever they can to fix the problems, but in the long term, it's going to take quite a bit of PR from Toyota to once again build up that reputation of quality in their products.
And we're getting more and more reports, Jeff, about dealers being really upset at the media for overplaying this recall by Toyota. And to put it in some perspective, Toyota has 10 plants here in the United States. They're shutting down 2 only temporarily. Those plants make 3 models, but they make 10 here in the United States. So it still is a smaller, in relative terms, portion of their business. Is the media overplaying this?
I don't believe so. If you look at Toyota, and they base their marketing plans based upon the quality of their product. And now we have an instance where many of their vehicles had significant problems that have caused approximately 30 deaths in the United States. So when you build a product and you market it as a quality product, then you had problems with the product, and it seems like there was some issues. When did they know about the problem, and how did they act upon the problem? I think it is a big news story, and I don't think it's being overblown. If this was Ford or GM or Chrysler,
right,
once again, the media would probably say, well, here's why people may not buy American cars, is because of these quality problems. This is the biggest significant recall that Toyota's ever had. Now let's see how they fix the problem and how do they move on from here.
Right.
But like I said before, I think this is a great opportunity for a company like Ford, who really has come out smelling like a rose in the auto industry, to take advantage of what has happened to Toyota.
Right, and they went through their own similar issues or problems years back with the Firestone tires and what have you with the Explorer. All right, Jeff, thanks for joining us. We're going to check back with you a little bit later on in the hour to talk about some other topics. In the meantime, for an instant audit on it this morning, let's bring in Jeff Duncan of Duncan Financial Management. Jeff, let's try to grade this thing 1 year out. It's tough because a lot of it hasn't been rolled out yet. In fact, a lot of the money that is aimed at infrastructure and other things is now only going to be going into effect this year, as opposed to last year when the focus was on tax cuts and extending programs and that type of stuff. What grade would you give it, though?
I would, at this point, I'd probably give it a C-, D+. When the president took office, he talked a lot about, and so did the vice president, about shovel-ready jobs. Well, in the latest employment report, we lost 20,000 jobs. The unemployment rate did go down, which I can't believe how that would happen when you lose 20,000 jobs. And they, talked about keeping the unemployment rate under 8% when they got into office. So obviously, none of this has worked at this point. Most of the money has not been spent. So I ask, why has it not been spent? Why is this taking so long at this stage of the game? What we need to focus on maybe is, instead of the government stimulating the economy by giving out money, maybe the money should be given back to the taxpayer in some form, whether it's tax cuts or one-time rebates that extend over periods of time, to get the money actually in the hand of the consumer, who can now decide how that money will be spent in the economy. So I think just a different direction needs to be made. We have to understand, I believe, that the administration is doing the best that they feel to help the country.
Right.
Obviously, they're not trying to hurt the country, but they're trying to help the country. But
well,
what
Jeff,
they
let me
really
just stop
need
you.
to do,
Let me just stop you there for a second. You know, we are a year out, and so that's a significant period of time. But we were also dealing with an administration that was getting into office, getting up to speed as well, from everything from getting their phones lines set up to getting their computers working and everything. Is it really fair at this point to grade the stimulus here? So many times in the business community, we'll look 3-4 years out. We'll look back on a project like this and say this was a huge success.
Right. I agree that this you do have to give things time, but this is a significant problem. This is a problem that's been building up. We almost had a meltdown in the financial markets, and now we come in a year later. You know, I think that more things could have been done early on in getting the money flowing and maybe taking a different direction than just having these stimulus packages. I think more of tax breaks, even though we're running these huge budget deficits, that has to be tackled too. But we had a significant financial crisis. I don't think anybody would disagree with what Hank Paulson has said, that we basically almost had a financial meltdown, and that we knew unemployment was going to go up. But what did we really do in the beginning of the administration to get it up and running? And unfortunately, we're still seem to be stuck. We're printing books. We're having people travel across the country. We need to get the money in the hands of the everyday person, the consumer, so they can start spending the money in the communities, going to restaurants, buying clothes.
And that kind of thing, right? We're going to talk, Jeff, about the balance in between doing that, spending more money to get the economy going, and what you said a moment ago, trying to tackle the deficit in just a few moments. So Jeff Duncan will come back for that. But right now...